All right, this is Dave Hicks. It's Thursday night, July, whatever, I forget. This is Dave Hicks with ZoomTruth.com, coming to you from right out of New Egypt, New Jersey, and I'm headed to Point Pleasant, New Jersey tonight. Should be there around 6:30, 7 o'clock, so come and join me if you see this, maybe before 9 or 10 o'clock. I'll be out there. Peace. Okay.
By the way, why is it important whether the earth is flat or round?
Come on now, you ready for this?
No, I'm not.
47 years old I am. I became a born-again Christian only a year and a half ago. There's thousands of people just like me. It's very clear in the Bible, it does not describe a ball. All you have to do is read your Bible.
Well, even if it does or it doesn't, what does it matter?
What does it matter where we live?
Whether it's flat or whether it's a ball, what does it matter?
What does it matter where so if you don't...
Exactly, what does it matter? Answer me.
Right, but so you don't find it, so if you, it makes no difference whether that all these scientists are lying to you, the government's lying to you, the NASA's lying to you, your taxes are being paid for, that doesn't matter to you.
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, all right, I don't like to be lied to.
That's the only thing that matters, whether they're lying?
No, there's more to it actually. Okay. This is about God, really. Ultimately, I don't, it's hard selling that. Like, obviously, business probably isn't, a lot of people don't want to hear about God. Right. I'm with you on it, 100%. I'm born again now, as of a year and a half ago, thousands of other, but that's why it matters to me. But I can tell you, everyone standing here, real quickly, what drove me to stand out on the boardwalk and look like a nut job, right? Because that's what I look like. The reason why I'm doing this is that you can watch a newscast, and the newscaster shows you the skyline of Chicago from a distance of 50 miles across Lake Michigan. Over a distance of 50 miles, according to spherical geometry, we should have 1,700 feet of curvature. You guys with me so far? Okay, so we should have 1,700 feet that the Earth dips below the horizon. The tallest building in Chicago is 1,700 feet. It is the Willis Sears, formerly the...
You shouldn't be able to see it.
You freaking shouldn't be able to see it. Not only that, but you see all the neighboring buildings. So what does the newscaster tell you? You know what he tells you?
The Earth is round!
No. Well, of course he tells you that. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. What the newscaster tells you, though, is what you are seeing is a mirage. And you know why he tells you that? Because they call it TV programming for a reason. They're programming your mind as to what to think.
Wait,
yeah, let me blow your mind. I can blow your mind and I'll ruin your whole night.
What are you trying to get across with the research or this lab?
Don't trust any of the people who have gray hair like me. Don't trust me. Don't trust anybody. Think for your freaking selves, people. It's time to think for yourselves. Your teachers, do they teach you? Do they teach you or do they tell you about history?
They tell you.
Exactly. Come on now. How is your school lunch? Is it non-GMO food that they're serving you? Do you know how dangerous GMO, genetically modified organisms are for you? They're killing you. Genetically modified corn literally is grown to grow its own toxins so that if bugs try to eat it, it will kill the bugs. So you're ingesting, when you eat this corn that is, and like 90% of our corn is now GMO, which is a horrible thing. I used to love our corn. So anyway, I'm getting off track. If we want to stay flat Earth will, it's unbelievable, it's ridiculous, but the more you look into it, the more evidence you're going to see of things that I just explained to you right now. It's everywhere.
The moon landing is fake.
All right, give me a second. Can you, hold on. You guys ready? I just made this kind of a pain for me to move it around. But, all right. Oh, shit. Sorry. All right, guys. This piece of junk.
Are you inspired by Shane Dawson?
No, I've seen that he's jumped on board this a little bit, yeah. But that was pretty recent. But yeah, man, of course, anybody who speaks the truth, you know what I mean?
You've been doing this for a while.
It's been like almost a year and a half, and people have been like really became like kind of like mainstream, more mainstream, last 3 years or so. So I'm kind of new, but I'm also getting kind of old. You become very lonely. I lost all my friends when I started talking this stuff, or at least most of my friends, because people don't want to hear this. This is crazy stuff that I'm talking about, right? But if you guys take a look at this thing, you can come up and look close, guys. These bends and like this stuff has bends. It's not even done like professionally whatsoever. There's no moon dust anywhere on the landing gear of this piece of junk.
Don't even go there.
Okay. Sure. There's a saying, you guys, ready for this? And keep this, always remember this. Condemnation before investigation is the highest form of ignorance. Okay? Get it? Ignorance is bliss. There's another one. You don't want, like, it's seriously, you get into this stuff and you learn it. It's upsetting. I didn't sleep for the first 3-4 weeks that I read this stuff. I got kicked off of like 3 blogs, banned, because I was bringing this stuff up, and people think you're a lunatic when you bring this up. But if you actually are willing to challenge what your beliefs are, and see how it's a lot of young people who are listening, because young people aren't quite so programmed yet to laugh at this stuff. I get laughed at all day long, and I'm okay with it. You know why? Because I used to be one of the guys who would hear this stuff and be like, what an idiot. That was what I would do. So I know where these people are coming from, and I can accept it. It doesn't hurt me one bit. You know, I didn't put my tooth back in because I'm not even sure what to do, because there's so many bad things about what the dentists do to you that I've now since learned. So I'm kind of stuck without a tooth right now. I could put a tooth in tomorrow if I wanted to, right? So I look like a lunatic. Anyhow, there's no stars. If you guys go to the NASA website, you will find no stars that you can't see, and you know they always give you some rotten excuse. The fact is that there's multiple video. Like when they first did the moon landing, I forget who it was in the interview, but they're like, did we see stars? They were talking while they were being interviewed on TV, and they couldn't get their story straight. And the guy's like, yeah, we saw stars. The other guy's like, no, we didn't see stars. They got confused. So you want to like look into the moon landing, because for the Earth to be flat, what is the necessary requirement? Well, you cannot have these photos and space really being real, or then Earth isn't flat. It would be impossible, because they show us these photos of a ball Earth. The problem with the photos of ball Earth and all the photos of satellites, look them up, go to NASA's website, and it clearly states that they are composite photos. They are not a singular photo. They are CGI.
Yes, and the clouds overlap in them.
Oh, have you seen some of the flat Earth videos? Oh, you guys have. Very cool. So yeah, so I don't know. What do you guys think about? You've looked into it before. You think it's crazy?
I've watched Shane Dawson videos.
Yeah, you've watched them all.
Yeah, I know all about this.
Yeah, what do you think?
How, like when they put the flag in and it was blowing.
Yeah.
No wind. No wind.
Does that bother you at all or not? Do you know how much NASA? You probably know how much NASA gets a day from our taxes. $50 million a day. $50 million a day they take of ours to produce a bunch of lies. So keep this in mind. If you think you're going to vote this problem away, and when you get old enough to vote, think again, guys. It's one team: the Democrats, the Republicans. It doesn't matter who's in office. We've been at war for 20 years. Since I graduated college, we've been at war. Democrats, Republicans, Afghanistan. Who else have we? Iraq we invaded. You name it, we've been there. We're blowing things up or droning people. So I'll give you guys one more little example of why things don't work mechanically. How do we know water acts? Look right behind me, guys. You guys see the curve of the Earth, right? You see that curve? Of course you don't. Yeah, you see it, right? You see that curve, right? Well, hold on. I gotta empty this water. Now, water always finds its level, okay? So if I'm going to do this, you see how it's always searching for its level. If I do that, the top of the bottle will always be level, okay? It doesn't all of a sudden naturally start to curve and have a bulge in it. Now, of course, you could say, hey, that's over a short distance, but there's engineers who've done this with like piping and stuff, and you can't get water to go up a curve. You just can't do it, or down. So I would just ask if anybody wants. I have paperwork on some websites on people who make YouTube videos. There's a lot of misinformation, like people who are trying to discredit the flat Earth movement, and I believe it's literally government people who are being paid. So if anybody wants some paperwork, I have some. If anybody wants it. All right, yeah, you don't have to. Excuse me? You want? Yeah, man. It just has some. It has different websites and stuff, and what you have to go through to get through this stuff. Thanks. You're welcome, man. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night. I can tell you, did you hear about being able to see the Chicago skyline from 50 miles away? This is an interesting proof. There should be 1,700 feet of curvature over a distance of 50 miles, due to the Pythagorean theorem, which is spherical geometry. So 8 inches per mile squared produces 1,700 feet of expected curvature over 50 miles. Well, someone went to the shoreline of Lake Michigan, and you can clearly see the Chicago skyline from 50 miles away. The problem is that there should be 1,700 feet of curvature beyond the horizon. The tallest building in Chicago is the Willis Tower. It is 1,700 feet tall. The neighboring buildings are only 50 and 100 feet. You can see them all. You shouldn't be able to see those buildings. The guy on TV tells you what you are seeing is a mirage. The only problem with the guy on TV is that a guy got in a boat and he happened to get a good day when you could see this mirage, and he literally filmed it the whole way across until he could see it with his own 2 eyes. Which you actually saw it in the first place. So is it a mirage? Yeah, I'm not either, guys. You want a paper? You're right. All right, man. Have a good night. Brad, if you want, man, if you videotape, I'd be much happier, but if you don't want to, I get it. Crazy, right? You guys know how fast you're spinning? They say you're spinning right at this moment? Give me 1 second, actually. Take your time. All right, guys. Thank you. All right. They say we're spinning. I'm making YouTube videos while I do this. They say we're spinning right now on the Earth 1,000 miles an hour, okay? That's a start. We also circle the sun. We're circling the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. Then they're also traveling at 500,000 miles an hour because the sun, that's how fast the sun is traveling, and we're trailing the sun. Now you guys feel all that motion, right? Yeah. You guys getting dizzy yet? Okay, I'm not either. I don't feel a thing. If you guys look across that water there, what do you see? Flat. It looks flat, right? How do we know water? Water always finds and seeks its level. I can show you that later. The thing that got me into flat Earth, the biggest proof that really stunned me in the beginning, was that there's a video, if you look up Chicago, Lake Michigan, Chicago, Lake Michigan, flat Earth. Now, what you'll see is the Chicago skyline from 50 miles across the shore of Lake Michigan. Now, the problem with this is that on a ball Earth, 25,000 miles in circumference, spherical geometry says that you should have 1,700 feet of expected curvature, right? The tallest building in Chicago, don't worry about these people, I laughed at it too. The tallest building in Chicago is 1,700 feet tall. That's the tallest building. You can see not only the tallest building, you can see a little 100-footers and 200-footers. You shouldn't be able to see any of them, right? They should be behind the curve. Now, you ready for this, guys? I was that guy about 2 years ago, man. If someone would have told me this, I laughed. I laughed when I first heard it. Everybody does. It's stupid, right? But that's great, man. You're a lot more open-minded than I am. Well, you're not as brainwashed as older people too. You haven't gotten so brainwashed. But the fact is that a great quote to live by is, condemnation before investigation is the highest form of ignorance. You guys get that? If you guys want, I have a little paper. It shows you websites, different YouTube channels and stuff to go to, and I'll just give you a little bit more information, man. It's pretty interesting stuff. Man. I'm Dave. Yep. Hey, I'm Dave. Thanks for listening. Yep. I have yeah, you guys can. I'll show you another interesting one if you want. A little slide here. Guys, these are official NASA images, okay? And tell me when you read this if you understand what it is that I'm talking about here. Can you see it? Yeah. Okay. So our problem is that the continent of North America. Yeah. A little bit. The problem is the continent is changing size, guys. Right now. there's a simple explanation for this. NASA screwed up, okay? Because what they did is they create these composite images, because if you go on NASA, you're going to find that all of their images are composites. All of them. There's not one image that they put on the NASA that is, unless it's like a close-up of their own spacecraft from inside. But I'm talking images of Earth from space. They're all composites. I do believe that they say there's one that was like from the moon landing, but that's very strange that you would have only one photo out of years and years of being in space. So there's a ton of stuff you can look up,